Think back to a time you were in waiting. Maybe it was a sudden job loss. You had to find a new job. Maybe it was a move across the street or across the nation. Maybe it's the addition of a new family member, either through adoption or birth. Maybe it's a loss of a family member. Or maybe it was a sickness that was hitting you or someone you loved and cared about. And although you didn't know the outcome or how long it was going to be, you knew that when it was over, you were going to be in a new season. What did you do in the waiting? Hey, my name's Chace Steeves. I'm one of the associate pastors at the Fallbrook campus. In this new season's new prayer, I want to invite you into my journey. It all started a little over 2 years ago. I developed an eye floater. An eye floater is simply a blood vessel that ruptures in the eye and causes some cloudy vision. Once the blood settles, you have restored vision. But being a type 1 diabetic, we wanted to make sure it was nothing more than that. So I go to the hospital and I check out with the doctor and he goes, actually, Chace, your right eye is far worse. In fact, your retina is detaching. We need to go in for surgery as soon as possible. So a couple weeks later, we schedule the appointment and the surgery happens and we think it's gonna be pretty routine. We got this early enough. After a couple weeks of recovery, I should be good to go. Well, it turned out to be anything other than routine. And fast forward 19 months, I've gone through 5 different surgeries. I've had to recover face down in a memory foam pillow for 6 weeks. The outcome is I'm now fully blind in my right eye. And unless the Lord does a miracle, I'll be blind in my right eye for the rest of my life. Up until the 3rd surgery, I had a lot of confidence. I was like, man, this next surgery, the Lord's it's gonna be better. I'm gonna get my vision back. And after the 3rd one had failed and they knew a 4th one was coming and a 5th, I began to feel really hopeless. And I began to question and I was wrestling with that. So in my recovery, I was laying down on my bed, so a lot of reading happened. And I turned to Mark chapter 9. And I love, there's a story in there about a young boy who's demon possessed. And his father goes to the disciples saying, help him. They couldn't do it. So in desperation, this dad goes to Jesus and he says this in Mark 9:21. Jesus asked the boy's father, how long has he been like this? From childhood, he answered. It was often throws him into fire and water to kill him. But if you can do anything, take pity on us and help us. If you can, Jesus said, everything is possible for him who believes. Immediately, the boy's father exclaimed, I do believe. Help me overcome my unbelief. And oh man, I love how real that is. He's crying out, I need more faith. I can't do it on my own. I tried to take him to the disciples. They couldn't do it. Jesus, help. And that's exactly where I found myself. Not so much questioning if the Lord was going to heal me, but more, this was 13 months now of wondering, God, what are you doing? God, did you forget about me? God, do you have a plan? God, why? And I began to doubt his goodness. And so I turned to scripture and I realized, how do you combat a lack of faith? And there's a couple ways to do it, but the one I want to focus on with the remainder of our time is I got wise counsel. I got people around me that I did life with, that I shared my challenges with. So my question for you is, who do you have in your life? Who's speaking truth in your life? Who knows your highs and your lows, your difficulties and your joys? For me, it was my life group and some close friends. It was a conversation with one of them that completely changed how I viewed this situation. In my darkest moment, I could no longer play catch with my son or no longer wrestle with my kiddos on the living room floor or go to the beach. I was recovering and I felt like I was missing out on so much and it was impacting my kids. And I was sharing this with a friend and struggling and it was emotional and he just put his arm around me and he prayed this prayer that changed my life. He said this, he said, may you help Chace not focus on the things that is missing out on, rather focus on something far greater, which is showing his family how to walk through a season of pain, trusting in the Lord. This new prayer gave me hope. It strengthened me. It gave me a purpose for walking through a season. I didn't know the outcome, but I now knew I had a purpose in it. Here's my prayer for you. Maybe you're going through a season and you're like, God, what's going on? There's someone watching you who's trying to see how you're going to respond. There's someone watching saying, hey, I know that person's a follower of Jesus. What are they going to do? Why do they have more joy when they should be angry? Why do they have trust? What is going on? This isn't how the world is responding. What's different? Maybe the Lord's using you as an example of what it looks like to follow Jesus through a season of uncertainty. So my prayer for you is this. May you in your season of uncertainty, challenge, and pain press into Jesus and be an example to those around you of what it looks like to not know the answers, but know the one who does and trust in him for guidance and strength. That's my new prayer. I pray that's your new prayer. The question is, are you going to be an example in this season?